The new brand of Republican BS has landed. Now, today's story, promoted, of course, by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who else? The leading contender for Trump Jr. VP pick. Now we have Marjorie Taylor Greene brought to the attention of Donald Trump Jr. that it was authorized during a raid at Mar-a-Lago the use of deadly force if necessary. The problem is that is a natural thing for every single raid of every law enforcement everywhere in the country, is they are able to use deadly force if called for. There's nothing spectacular about that. There's nothing different from that. No judge, no jury, and no president had to do anything for that to be part of the paperwork. So what they're doing, as usual, is creating something out of nothing. They're taking something that's actually meaningless from every direction and turning it into, he was trying to unalive me.
I'm sorry, Crooked Joe was trying to unalive me. Now you have the proof. Just ask my cave woman lover.
We got to get past this. And the Republicans and the MAGA people need to stop drinking this freaking Kool-Aid. Have you ever seen police shows? Have you ever seen a raid on TV? They all have the right to use deadly force if necessary. If they were trying to make an example out of Donald Trump, would they have the FBI coming in on their polos with the little tiny FBI, or their flak jackets with M16s with FBI and the sirens and all that other stuff? I mean, they literally played it down. And don't forget, that was after more than a year of them begging, saying, we know you have these documents, give them back, and him saying, I did. And they know he's lying because they know the documents that are stolen. It's all registered. That's where they knew the big binder. They were able to trace it back. 15 minutes before Donald Trump left office, he tried to get it declassified. It was too important. There was too much classified information. It was everything about the Russia investigation. All of this stuff means something, ladies and gentlemen. And all of these bullshit arguments you hear coming out of the right, like this, Biden was trying to use a deadly force. Really? That's a policy in law enforcement. No request needed. They're going on a raid. They carry their pieces with them. Their pew-pews are part of the uniform when they're going on a raid. Usually they're stacked. They weren't stacked for him. They gave him a break because of who he is. But we need to recognize these are distractions. They're going after Joe Biden again for what now? They're going after Fani Willis in the Congress and in the Senate now. They're going after Joe Biden for not releasing tapes of an interview. And he ignored a congressional subpoena. Well, wait a second. Who else ignored congressional subpoenas? Donald Trump, Roger Stone, Mike Flynn, Rudy Giuliani, Jim Jordan, Lindsey Graham. How many? But Joe Biden's not justice. Ladies and MAGA gentlemen, do yourselves a favor. Just look at the big picture for a second. You're pissed off at one thing from one person because your orange Cheeto head wannabe von Schitzenpants tells you to, not realizing the evidence against him is overwhelming. And he's got you so convinced that he's right and the rest of the world is wrong, that you believe it to your core. You are willing to make your vote be so important that you lose friends, you lose jobs, you lose business, you lose relationships, you lose family because of one vote? This is pathetic, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Biden's not after Donald Trump. He's competing against Donald Trump for a job that he's much more qualified for, whether he's old or not, than Donald Trump. We got to pick between those two? You seriously? Really? But Hillary Clinton wasn't supposed to run because she was under investigation, and that would be too much of a distraction for a presidential candidate to run for president. And it's definitely going to be too much for the actual president to have, all these indictments and all this stuff, because they were going to lock her up, remember? Because of those emails that turned out to be not very much. Classified emails. What was the argument about that again? 600,000 deleted emails, okay. And how many of them were supposedly classified? In an email. An insecure email server. I mean, nothing like a secure bathroom at a public resort or on a stage where they have events, public events. All they have to do is rent the room or crash the party. Pictures, employee statements, testimony, factual evidence. Those were classified documents in boxes on a stage at a freaking resort, in a basement, unlocked at a resort, in a toilet, an accessible toilet. Not to mention the locked rooms and the casket of his ex-wife, who was cremated. But it still needed 10 men to carry the casket. Oh, I digress. All of that evidence, and you still think it's fake. And you still call yourself a patriot. How is that possible? How is the word patriot, or that slogan, America First, how you can say that through your heart? You can say that and think you mean it? America First? It's Trump first. That's all it is. It's not America first, it's Trump first. And you being a patriot, you love our country, but not enough to actually give a shit and make sure there's no actual evidence going on. I don't love it that much. MAGA. Doesn't sound very patriotic. So Joe Biden isn't causing these lawsuits. The Stormy Daniels check was discovered during the Mueller report in 2016, when it all happened, 2018. It started kicking off the investigation. They put it in a file on the side because it had nothing to do with Russia, but they knew there was something wrong with it. So they put all the evidence together in a file, and they put it up there, and they notify the investigators in New York and go, oh, by the way, we stumbled on this, you may want to look into it, and they leave it alone. And if the office takes it up and investigates it, and something comes out of it, something comes out of it. If they don't, they don't. They looked into it. Not Joe Biden looked into it. The investigators, Republican investigators, and Democratic investigators. They looked into it and said, wow, there's more here. We need to look into it some more. So this investigation and this trial has been going since then. It just happens to be the first one going through, besides the, $500 million business fraud trial and the sexual assault trial, SA trial, where he was found guilty of, right? Yeah. He told you so. So you believe him over everyone else. Hey, did you hear? He gets back in office, he's going to stay for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, 16 years. He said it himself. Just saying. He's going to make women register their menstrual cycles. Just in case they skip a period, they can be investigated for murder. Sorry, unaliving. Schmurmer. That's your Donald Trump. And the reason he doesn't want any of these cases going public before the election, because the evidence goes public before the election. The evidence gets out there. Now the only way we'll get the evidence is if someone leaks it. So yeah, you're a patriot. You should want to look at any evidence available, right? No matter who it's about. Even your own vote. Because that's what an actual patriot would do. That's actually putting America first. That is putting country before party. That's what patriot actually is. And that's exactly what you are not. And if you want to change that, go ahead, do some research. But stay diligent, stay educated.